Hello everybody, welcome to my Spider-Man mask tutorial. In this video, I'm going to do my best to teach you how to make something like this. So before we start, if you are new here or just new to cosplaying in general, I want you to know that you can feel free to leave any questions you might have about cosplaying in the comments down below. I'm always here to help you guys out. I would love to help people out who are starting out just like me, with whatever that might be. And yeah, so I guess without further ado, let's get started in 3, 2, and 1. So, starting with a couple of things you will need in order to follow along with this tutorial. Some red fabric, can be stretchy, preferably it's stretchy. You can also just use a red shirt. And also some of this black faux leather. You can get this at any local craft store you might have around, or just use black foam, any black thing you have. A Sharpie. We'll be using this for drawing on the web pattern, some scissors, We're going to be cutting up some of this fabric to make it the shape of the mask that we want. We're going to need some kind of measuring tool, and I don't show it here, but also a hot glue gun and some white material for the eyes. And then, of course, your girlfriend's grandma's sewing machine. Start by first taking your measuring tool, preferably a measuring tape, and get one measurement 1, of the height of your head from your neck, and then measurement 2 is going to be the halfway point on both sides of your neck. And next, take your red fabric, lay it down flat on the table like so, and find the sort of middle point where you're going to grip it and fold it. So folding the fabric over like this just makes it easier. We only have to cut one sort of shape instead of 2 of the same shape. This just helps keep things lined up. Then take your measurement 1 and just sort of add maybe 1 or 2 extra inches to it in order to allow curvature around your head. Place it down right there, take your Sharpie, and just sort of mark the height that you want your mask to be. Now for measurement 2, you're going to take that neck measurement you took earlier and transfer it to the fabric like so, just by laying your measuring tape flat, taking your measurement, marking it, and that's going to give you the thickness of your neck piece for when you sew these 2 pieces together. Next, you're going to draw a sort of side profile onto the fabric using these 2 measurements. So starting at the base with the first measurement you took around your neck, tracing that up, sort of making it look like the side of someone's head all the way up to the first measurement, keeping a oval shape just so that it can fit around your head nicely when it's all sewn together. For this next bit, we're going to be cutting this drawing out. So take some sewing pins and just sort of push the 2 pieces of fabric together, keep them bounded for when you are cutting them, so that way nothing shifts and you still have 2 perfectly equal pieces. And hopefully you are enjoying this tutorial. This is my first take on this kind of video. Hopefully it's not too boring and it's not too difficult to follow along with. Please share any tips or criticisms you have. We are done. We're going to start making our cut now with our scissors, just by sort of tracing along the outside of the line. And this is important for when we get to our next step, which is going to be sewing our pieces together, leaving a gap between the line and the cut of the fabric, which is going to create this thing called a seam allowance, and basically just make sure that we're achieving the exact shape we want when we sew it together, and it doesn't end up smaller or bigger than it should. And just like that, voila, we have our 2 pieces of fabric that we will be stitching together, and I think it looks great. This is a very, very beginner tutorial, so we're not following any pattern, but we are going to stitch along this edge and sort of just pull it right back inside out once we're done with it. And since you've made it this far, I just want to express to you how grateful I am that you're here. There are plenty of other Spider-Man mask tutorials for you to follow on YouTube, so thank you for choosing this specific one and showing interest. Okay, mushy stuff aside, just trace this seam all the way around the mask, and when you are finished, you should have something like this. And like I said, we are just going to open it up at the neck, stick our hand in, grip, pull out, and turn it inside out. And for this next step, you're going to try on the mask in order to get your eye placement. And now that you have it on, you are going to get the measurements for your eyes by taking your Sharpie and just placing little dots right around where you can see from. And yeah, it looks very silly, but just trust, it's part of the process and will make your mask all the better for it. You're going to take your mask and your scissors and just cut out the dots to create holes for you to see from. And now that we have our peeping holes cut out, we're going to move on to my favorite part of the process, which is creating the lenses. So start by taking your black piece of fabric or foam, whatever you have, and just sort of tracing out the shape of your lenses with a Sharpie. I'm going to make a different pair than the one I had on the mask I was showing earlier. I'm just opting for a more serious and angry look. Now we are going to cut the shape out, but we're not actually going to cut it out just like this. We are going to take it and fold it in on itself, similarly to how we did with the mask, in order to create two identical pieces. You're also going to use pins for this part to pin your fabric down by the corners of the lenses. This is, again, just to keep it sturdy and make sure that nothing shifts while you're cutting it. And we are finished. We have two outer lenses done, cut. We're going to take these two pieces and pin them back together so that we can cut out the inside of them. And voila, we have our two lenses cut out, or lens frames, I should say. Lenses are what we're going to cut out from this white stuff. This is white vinyl, white hold vinyl that I just got, again, from my local craft store. There are alternatives. I know for a lot of my first masks, what I did is I used dryer sheets or even just stretched out fabric in order to create the white in between the eyes. Now, take your pieces and a hot glue gun and fuse them together. You're going to want to glue just a little bit on the inside of the frame in order to give the white part something to stick to. Repeat the same process with the other eye and you should have two lenses that you can now glue to your mask. This step is so awkward looking and kind of nightmare fuel. Just move past that and hold your lenses up to your mask. Take your Sharpie and create 2 points at the inner face part of the lens and the outer face part of the lens. And now that we have our 2 points, we can begin gluing on the lenses. Just do a very light application at first around the lens frame. That way we can stick it to the mask, and you'll see here I'm lining up the corners with the dots that I made previously just to keep things lined up and nice and rightfully angled. Repeat the same process on the other side, try it on, and you should have something like this. Feel free to celebrate because you are about to move on to the most painful part of this whole process, drawing the webs. Now, you do not have to do this. Some masks don't have webs, some suits don't have webs, but of course, if you are going for the classic look for Spider-Man, you are going to want to put these webs on. It can be a little tedious and challenging, but you're going to take your Sharpie and pray for yourself. For this step, what I like to do is stuff the mask with some extra cloth. You can also just pin it down to cardboard. I know that works a lot better. It's what I did for my other mask, but this is just what I had lying around. Now you can follow any web pattern you'd like from the comics, shows, or movies. That might help you if you're getting started, just to sort of figure out where things should go, how lines should line up. Or, you can just wing it and have something that's unique. Once you're done drawing on your webs, you can take out the extra cloth. And finally, the most exciting part, try it on. And pow, would you look at that? This is how my mask turned out. I'm very proud of it. I like the way it looks a lot. It's very, well, not very, but it's definitely more intimidating than my other mask. Please let me know down below if this tutorial was helpful, and I'd love to see some of your masks on my Instagram. My handle is down here. or no, down here. Yeah, you can follow me. Please follow me.
Follow me.
If you would like. And that does it for this video. So bye.